The night was quiet in a way that made the city feel empty. Streetlights stood like silent guards. The air was cold and still. Maya walked alone after finishing her late shift. She worked at a small medical store near the highway. Every night she took the same road. She believed routine meant safety. Maya was 26. She was strong-minded and observant. Life had taught her to notice details, the sound of footsteps, the change in air, the way silence suddenly felt heavy. That night, her phone battery had died. Her bag felt heavier than usual. As she walked, she sensed something wrong. Not fear yet, just a feeling, like being watched. A car passed slowly, too slowly. Its headlights brushed her shadow, then stopped ahead. Maya slowed her steps. Her heart began to beat louder. The car door opened. A man stepped out. Tall, calm. His voice was soft when he spoke. He asked for directions. Maya stayed at a distance. She pointed towards the main road. She noticed his hands. Clean. No shaking. She noticed the car. Old, scratches near the trunk. Suddenly, everything changed. In 1 second, he rushed forward. His grip was strong, too practiced. He covered her mouth. Maya fought. She scratched, she kicked, but he knew how to control. He pulled her into the car. Inside the car, it smelled of metal and oil. The door locked, the engine started. Maya forced herself to breathe. She remembered something her mother once said. If you cannot escape, then observe, remember, survive. Maya stopped struggling. She let her body relax. The man did not expect this. He looked surprised. He smiled. He talked as he drove. About nothing, about weather, about roads. Maya listened. She counted turns. She felt the road change from smooth to rough. She smelled trees. She noticed a song playing softly. She memorized the rhythm. He stopped at an isolated place, an old warehouse near the woods. The moonlight showed broken walls, rust, silence. Inside the warehouse, the air was damp. Maya kept her eyes open. She studied everything. A red cloth, a metal table, marks on the floor. Fear tried to take over, but Maya held on to one thought. This man has done this before. That means he will make mistakes. He tied her hands, but not too tight. He believed she was weak now. He turned his back for a moment. That moment saved her life. Maya kicked the chair. She rolled. She ran. Her hands burned, but she kept moving. The man shouted. He chased her, but the darkness helped. She reached the road. She screamed. A truck stopped. The driver pulled her inside. Police arrived. Lights filled the night. Maya was shaking, but alive. At the station, she did not cry. She spoke clearly. She described everything: the car, the smell, the song, the warehouse. Detectives listened carefully. They exchanged looks. This was not the first time. A serial attacker, wanted for months, always leaving no witnesses, until now. Maya did not know it yet, but her survival had changed everything. The hunt had begun. The police station was brighter than the street outside. White lights buzzed softly. Chairs lined the walls. Maya sat wrapped in a blanket. Her hands still trembled, but her mind stayed sharp. A detective named Harris sat across from her. He spoke slowly, carefully. He knew shock could erase memories, but Maya was different. She closed her eyes. She replayed the night like a film. Every sound, every smell, every movement. She described the man, his height, his calm voice, the way he moved like someone experienced. She described the car, the scratches, the smell of oil, the song that played on the radio. The detectives exchanged another look. This matched other cases. Women attacked, some disappeared, some never found. Maya was the first to escape. They showed her photos, one by one. She studied each face. Her heart pounded. Then she stopped. That was him. The same eyes, the same expression. Cold, controlled. His name was Daniel Cross, a quiet mechanic, no criminal record, lived alone near the industrial area. Police had suspected him, but had no witness, no survivor, until Maya. The investigation moved fast. Officers searched the warehouse. They found evidence: the red cloth, marks on the floor, footprints. Everything Maya remembered was real. Daniel was arrested the next morning. He did not resist. He smiled when they put the cuffs on. That smile made Maya shiver, but fear did not own her anymore. During questioning, Daniel denied everything. He spoke politely. He claimed Maya was lying. He believed there was no proof, but Maya had given them something stronger. Details only the attacker would know: the song, the warehouse, the exact path. Forensics matched fibers, matched marks, matched time. Still, Daniel stayed silent. Days turned to weeks. News spread. The city talked. A serial attacker caught, thanks to a survivor. Maya tried to return to normal life, but sleep did not come easily. Nightmares followed. Sounds felt louder. Shadows felt closer. Yet something inside her had changed. She was no longer just a victim. She was a witness, a voice for those who could not speak. Detective Harris asked her for help again. There were old unsolved cases, missing women, attacks with no faces. Maya agreed. She sat with files, photos, reports. She noticed patterns, times, locations. She pointed things others had missed. The attacker always chose places near main roads, easy escape, old buildings, music always playing. Her observations connected cases, years apart, different victims, one attacker. Police reopened files. Families finally received answers. The trial began months later. The courtroom was packed. Daniel sat calm, confident. Maya walked in, her steps steady, her head high. She took the stand. She told her story, without shaking, without fear. She looked at Daniel. She did not look away. For the first time, his smile faded. Evidence followed: witnesses, experts, patterns. The truth stood clear. When the verdict came, guilty. The room went silent. Daniel Cross was sentenced to life, no parole. Justice had a face now. Outside the courthouse, cameras waited. Reporters asked questions. Maya spoke once. She said, "Survival is not weakness. It is power." That night, she slept without nightmares, for the first time. But her journey was not over, because healing takes time, and strength grows when shared, and Maya had more to give. Months passed since Daniel Cross had been sentenced. Maya tried to return to her old life. The streets no longer felt familiar. Every shadow reminded her of that night. Every car on the road made her heart race. But Maya refused to let fear control her. She enrolled in self-defense classes. She studied psychology. She learned about trauma, about survival, about how to turn fear into strength. Detective Harris stayed in touch. He invited her to help with community safety programs. At first, she hesitated. She wanted peace, not more memories. But then she realized helping others could turn pain into purpose. Maya agreed. She began visiting schools, telling her story, teaching young women to notice details, to trust instincts, to never ignore the quiet warnings. Her story inspired many. Parents called, police departments asked for workshops. Her voice became a symbol of courage. Meanwhile, the investigation into Daniel's past continued. Police discovered more victims, women who had escaped or had been attacked but never reported. They had a chance to speak because of Maya. Some cried, some thanked her, some hugged her silently. Daniel's trial had sparked hope and fear for those who remembered his crimes. But Maya stood strong. She volunteered in victim support groups. She listened. She comforted. She guided. One night, she received a letter from a young woman who had survived an attempted attack. She wrote about remembering details, about reporting the man to police, about finally feeling safe. Maya realized her influence extended beyond the courtroom. She was part of a network, a chain of survivors, turning pain into action. But her journey was not only about others. She had her own battles to fight. Nightmares returned occasionally. She had moments of fear, but now she recognized them. She breathed through them. She reminded herself she was alive. Her friends noticed the change. She laughed more freely. She smiled without hesitation. She even began dating. Carefully, slowly, trusting again. Detective Harris called one evening. There was a new case. Similar patterns, strange calls. Women attacked, but alive. He asked for her help again. Maya agreed without fear. She studied the cases. She noticed details the police overlooked. The way he left marks, the timing of his appearances, the locations near isolated buildings. Her observations led to a swift capture. The new attacker was arrested. Maya's testimony was crucial. Again, she had survived. Again, she had helped bring a criminal to justice. With each case she worked on, she grew stronger, not just in body, but in mind and spirit. She realized survival was more than escaping. It was helping others. It was creating a safer world. It was reclaiming power. Maya started a foundation for survivors of violent attacks. It offered self-defense classes, legal advice, psychological counseling, safe housing. She named it after her own journey because she knew the first step was survival. The next was courage. The foundation grew. Maya traveled across cities, speaking at conferences, meeting other survivors, learning from them, sharing strategies, building a community. One day, she returned to the warehouse, the same place where her life had been threatened. She walked calmly, no fear, just memories. She remembered everything, the terror, the escape, the determination to survive. She stood in the moonlight, breathed in the air, felt the wind, felt alive. Maya realized she had transformed her trauma into power, and her power reached beyond herself. Every life she touched, every survivor she helped, was proof that one person's courage can ignite change. The city began to recognize her. Awards, acknowledgments, letters of gratitude. But she cared little for recognition. She cared about action. She cared about saving lives. She cared about survivors speaking out. Through her work, she met other women, strong women, fearless women. Together, they created a network to educate, to empower, to protect. Maya's life had shifted from fear and survival to strength and leadership, and she knew this journey would continue, as long as threats existed, as long as people needed help, as long as courage was required. And Maya was ready, stronger than ever. Years passed since Maya had first escaped Daniel Cross. Her life had transformed completely. She no longer walked the streets in fear. She moved with confidence, with purpose, with an awareness that came from experience and training. Her foundation had grown into a nationwide organization. It offered support for survivors of violent attacks. It trained women in self-defense. It educated communities. It worked with law enforcement to prevent crimes before they happened. Maya had become a leader, a voice, a symbol of strength. But her work also kept her close to danger. She never underestimated those who preyed on others. One evening, she received an urgent call from Detective Harris. There had been a series of attacks on women in the outskirts of the city. The police had no leads, but the pattern was clear. The perpetrator followed similar tactics to past cases. Isolated areas, late nights, no witnesses. Maya agreed to consult. She examined the details. She noticed subtle differences. The attacker was more careful, more unpredictable. He left almost no trace. Maya decided she needed to understand him. She studied past attackers, patterns, behavior, psychology. She spent hours with police reports, talking to survivors, reconstructing timelines. Through her research, she discovered a connection. The new attacker had lived in the same neighborhood as a man who had been arrested years ago, a friend of Daniel Cross, a man who had learned from Daniel's methods. Maya realized this was not random, it was deliberate, a copycat. She worked closely with Detective Harris. They set up surveillance, they monitored locations, they prepared for the inevitable attack. One night, a call came. A young woman had been attacked, barely escaped. She provided a description. It matched the profile Maya had built. The police acted quickly.
They tracked the suspect to an abandoned warehouse, the same way Maya had once been taken. Maya accompanied the officers. She knew every step, every risk, every strategy. The suspect tried to flee, but Maya's careful planning and the police's coordination cornered him. He was arrested, this time without escape. During questioning, he denied everything, claimed innocence, but Maya remained calm. She explained to the detectives what patterns he had followed, what behaviors he had mimicked. Her observations made the case airtight. The trial began. Maya testified. Her presence was calm, her voice steady. She described the sequence of events, the patterns, the psychology of the attacker. Her testimony made it impossible for the suspect to deny responsibility. The court convicted him. Life sentence, no parole. Justice had been served again. Maya's courage had prevented further tragedy. Her dedication had saved lives before attacks could succeed. After the trial, she returned to her foundation. She expanded programs. She began training police officers in behavioral analysis. She spoke internationally, shared strategies with governments. Her mission became global. Her work reached countless women. Despite her public life, she remained humble. She never forgot the night she had escaped, the fear, the terror, the realization that survival required both courage and intelligence. She sometimes visited survivors quietly. No cameras, no reporters, just guidance, just support. Her compassion became as legendary as her courage. One evening, she sat in her office reviewing case files. She realized how far she had come, from a terrified young woman to a leader, a protector, a survivor inspiring survivors. She looked at a photo of the first warehouse, the place that had changed her life forever. She remembered her escape, her determination to survive, the decision to turn fear into power, and she understood. Her journey was proof that trauma could be transformed, that fear could become strength, that one person could make a difference. Maya had survived. She had fought. She had helped others fight, and she had changed lives. She knew her work was never finished, but she also knew she was ready, stronger, wiser, fearless. The city slept safely because she was awake, because she was vigilant, because she refused to let fear rule her world. And Maya had found her purpose, her power, her life.
Maya stood in the sunlight outside her foundation's headquarters. The city buzzed around her. Cars honked. People walked past. The world seemed ordinary. But she knew how fragile life could be. She knew how easily fear could spread. And she knew how much courage mattered. Her foundation had grown into a network that spanned cities. She had trained thousands of women, worked with law enforcement, helped survivors find their voices. Every program she developed saved lives. Every lecture she gave empowered someone to take action. Yet Maya never forgot her own journey. She remembered the night Daniel Cross had taken her, the terror, the silence, the adrenaline that had kept her alive. She remembered escaping, the first breath of freedom, the determination that had turned fear into survival. Detective Harris joined her for a meeting. He handed her files. A new case required analysis. A suspected predator was active in a different city. Maya flipped through the details carefully. Patterns, locations, victim statements. Her mind worked like a map, connecting details others missed. She looked up at Harris. She did not hesitate. She would help. She had no fear. Her experience was her strength. Weeks later, the new attacker was captured. Maya's insights had guided the operation. Her observations had predicted his movements. Her analysis had saved lives. The media highlighted her role, yet Maya remained humble. She spoke only about courage, about survivors, about the importance of action, not about herself. Her nights became quieter. She had fewer nightmares. Sleep came easier. The trauma she had once carried was now a memory, not a chain, not a burden. Maya continued to visit survivors. Some cried in her arms. Some shared stories for the first time. Some smiled, finally feeling safe. She listened, she guided, she inspired. Her life had changed forever, from a terrified young woman on a dark road to a fearless leader, educator, protector. Her survival had sparked a movement. Her courage had created hope. Her determination had saved lives. One evening, as the sun set over the city, Maya walked alone along the same streets she once feared. She paused. The air was calm, the shadows long. She smiled, remembering every step, every choice, every moment that had led her here. Maya understood now that survival was only the beginning. Strength was cultivated, courage was chosen, and life could be transformed through action. She turned toward the headquarters, where her team waited, where survivors learned, healed, and empowered themselves, where hope became real. Maya stepped inside. The doors closed behind her. The work continued. The mission carried on. And she knew she would never stop, because she had survived, because she had fought, because she had helped others fight, because fear could never define her. And in that moment, Maya felt complete. Her life, her courage, her purpose, her legacy. She had turned a night of terror into a lifetime of strength, a story of survival into a story of power, a single woman into a beacon for many. Maya had won. The city was safer because she refused to be afraid, because she refused to be silent, because she refused to surrender. Her story ended, not in darkness, not in fear, but in light, in courage, in triumph. Maya had survived. Maya had risen, and Maya had changed the world.